You are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of Knuckle Up! Welcome, my friends. Welcome, my friends, to a show that seemingly never ends. Everything you could ever want to know, and stuff you desperately did not want to know about MMA, bitterness, and the fact that God hates you. This is round number 215. I am your host with the most, Eugene S. Robinson, and the S stands for submission. The S stands for submission. Yes. Hey, I'm thinking on the fly here. Anyway, this is a big week. This is such a huge week. It's a huge enough week that I can't even think straight. It's actually really that bad. It is totally that bad. On round number 215, we are making picks. We're moving, we're making stone cold Las Vegas handicapper locks. Can you believe the numbers coming out of Vegas that we're getting on the Anderson Silva Chael Sonnen matchup? Can you believe how diluted these fools are? You know, I mean, what I was hoping is, we're not getting good numbers, good odds on these because people are drinking and smoking some kind of Kool-Aid. Well, I'm taking a real good look at you. Look at your face, he says. And I'm telling you, with God as my witness, with God as my witness, you need to completely and totally examine some of the stuff that's happened in this press conference. But first, before we get too far afield and get into the heart of what is the next UFC, I have a guest coming up on round number 215, which is his. He's got a fight coming up. You know, we discovered tomorrow's stars today on Knuckle Up, and well, I don't know, maybe be inaccurate to say that he's not a star today. I'm thinking he might take umbrage at that, but I'm talking about Brandon Hester. Brandon Hester is 6'1". Let me see. He's got a record. Let me his record. I got it for you. He is got a record of 7-1. Fights light heavy, 6'1", orthodox stance. He's got wins over. Well, he's got wins over me. Try that. So he's got a background in wrestling and taekwondo. But a guy I need to train with more. He's going to be on the show. Let me turn the music down. He'll be the. You know, sometimes I say I'm not going to have guests. Skull Game Mobile. When I go mobile, it makes it very hard to do this. So you gotta say, give me a break sometimes with the interviews. But we do have interviews, and I'm hoping to get Harley Flanagan on here, who just got his black belt under RENZO GRACIE, which is a big deal. When a guy who's taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, let me tell you, for those of you who don't know this, when a guy who's taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gets his black belt, it is huge. I mean, it is. I'm not standing on ceremony here. I'm telling you, it is huge. It is huge beyond all reasonable measure. Huge. When I got my last belt, I told the guy, I'm more excited about this than I am about my college diploma. I'm gonna pause this. You know, you got a moment here. I got the computer noise here. I want this to be heard. So let's see if we can get Brandon Hester 7-1 is his record. MMA. He's got a fight coming up in July. Let's do it. And let's see if this will actually work. Yeah, I don't. Here we go. Wait for it. This is total shoestring.
Hello?
Brandon.
Yes.
Hey, this is Eugene. We got you. We didn't know if we'd be able to get you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brandon Hester, MMA guy. He's got a big fight coming up. Usually we have the research department do all of the research, but since that's me and Google, all I've been able to find on you says that your record thus far is about 7-1. Do I have that much right?
Yes, you do.
All right. Your background is wrestling and taekwondo.
Yep, that's where I started out. That's when I was younger. I was in taekwondo, and I ventured off into wrestling all through high school and a little bit after.
So now, the first time you wrestled was as a high schooler. You didn't do it like junior high or elementary school or something?
Actually, I started out in 8th grade, so I did 1 year of it before I hit high school, and then really took off once I hit my freshman year.
Okay, so now, how old are you now?
I'm 26.
You're 26. So this is when you started wrestling, though. You could have been aware of this thing called MMA at that point, right?
Yeah, I wasn't too aware of MMA back in those days, actually. I just recently started training about 2 years ago, and ever since then, I just naturally picked it up with my wrestling experience, and so I've just been progressing ever since I started.
So you were pursuing like taekwondo and wrestling separately, and you say until a few years ago you weren't even thinking about MMA as something to do, or?
Yeah, actually, I just came into the gym one day because somebody found out I was a wrestler from high school, and they wanted somebody to work out with. And I went in there, and my first day in the gym, I excelled and was beating a lot of the people that had been training for years in there. So I found out that I was pretty much just a natural, and I started picking it up and been loving it ever since.
Yeah, that's part of what I call my rock and roll fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you end up being a phenom. So now, what was that gym? The first gym that you walked into? Where is this?
Tribal Mixed Martial Arts in San Jose.
Oh, okay. All right. So now, so you've done. I'm guessing since all this information I got on you was on the CAMO page. This is amateur. You have a fight coming up? Is this an amateur fight or is this your pro debut? What is it?
Yeah, it's actually going to be. It's an amateur event. I'm looking at probably 1 or 2 more fights as an amateur before I even look about turning pro.
Right.
I want to make sure that once I do turn pro, I'm just ready to excel. I don't want to have any holes in my game, and so I'm just training really hard right now and putting in as much work as I can, and learning as much as I can right now.
Right.
So all these fights I'm taking out as much experience as I can from all of them.
And there's one coming up. Where is it for people who want to?
It's at the San Jose Convention Center on July 15th. It's part of the Fitness Expo that they have going on. I'm going to be the co-main event. They're going to have around, I think, 12 to 15 fights. I'm still not sure of the total number, but I'm taking on a guy from San Diego that's undefeated right now, and he's got all knockouts, so it should be a good fight. This is going
to be a blast. We will all be there. Some of us competing on that weekend on the 15th, it was the 14th, 15th, the 15th, 16th, the San Jose Fit Expo, so you guys can look it up. I'll have a link to it on the page for everybody who's interested. So anyway, all right, so now you've got this fight coming up. You got an undefeated guy. Do you know much about his background, this guy from San Diego?
No, I don't. I was actually only able to find one video on him. He looks like he's kind of a brawler, so a lot of the same technique as I am. He likes to take people down and just beat them up on the floor, so we're just going to have to see who's better at that. And
you're fighting light heavy?
Yeah, we're doing a catch weight of 195, but they're putting a belt on the line for the 205 title.
Oh, this could be nice. Hey, listen, when you get that belt, the first thing you got to do is never take it off. Like when you go like shopping or to the gas station or whatever, you got to wear the belt.
Well, I got 2 already, so this will hopefully be my 3rd one to add to my collection.
Hey, you got to wear. And so I had a belt. Was it 2 years ago from Grappler's Quest, and I wore it to the post office. And people were laughing. I was like, yeah. You know what? If you have one, you understand, and if you don't have one, who cares?
Yeah. when I won my state championship belt back in December, I wore that all night to in downtown San Diego. People were asking me all night long. But
yeah, there you go.
The fight knew exactly what it was for.
Right, that's the way to roll. That's the way to roll. Now, all right. So now, if people want to get, do you have a fighter page set up, or if people want to find out more about you, is there a way they can get a hold of you on the web or something, or what?
Well, they can look on tribalmma.com, and then also just on my Facebook page. Like I don't have a fan page yet. I'm in the process of probably working on one.
Right.
But other than that, if they want to look up tickets for the fight, it's worldcombatseries.com, and they can buy tickets online. It gives you access to the whole fitness expo, and it should be a great event.
This will be good. Well, you have to promise us to come back and talk about your win post facto. We'd love to do it
for sure, man.
And given that this is the show that it is, we have to ask everybody, Sonnen Silva, your pick.
I'm gonna have to go with Silva. He hasn't proven me wrong yet.
Okay, I think that's a smart money call. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brandon Hester. Brandon, thanks for spending the 6 minutes with us. Good luck with that. We'll talk to you after you win.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, man. Bye bye. So there you go. But how do you love the stories of sudden transformation? You know, I don't know. I'd always been kind of interested in brain surgery. And then I happened to be there one day, and they said, hey, is there anybody who can pull off this really complicated brain surgery maneuver? The hand goes up in the back. I think I can. I love that story. You know what? And I'm glad that what, am I too close for you? Is it making you feel uncomfortable? You have an unshaven radio show host get too close to you? It is disturbing, isn't it? Yeah, you're taking a real good look at my face, aren't you? Anyway, you know, I mean, wrestlers, there had been this antipathy. They weren't interested, they didn't care, but you know, smart money wrestlers have wised up, and the wrestling associations have also wised up. You know, people like Cael Sanderson, undefeated. He's like the best. I don't know if he's the best wrestler of all time. I mean, Dan Gable had one loss, you know, but nobody's questioning his standing. You know, the Schultz brothers, same, you know, but with the gold medals and so forth. Cael Sanderson is now coaching. But if you don't think for half a second, he's being paid crazy money to keep him from. Look, it's not this adversarial relationship necessarily between MMA and wrestling as it is between boxing and MMA. Why? Because you still have guys making $120 million. This is, I guess, what Mayweather is expecting again from his fight, his proposed fight with Pacquiao. $120 million payday. Well, I guess he wants to give 40 of that to Pacquiao, and he takes the rest. So as long as guys are doing that, they're going to feel threatened by MMA. But wrestlers, all they were looking at were jobs as assistant wrestling coaches at high schools. You know? You're wondering what the graffiti is on my body. I'm sorry. It's anti-bug juice, baby. You know? Malacesia fur. You know? It's, so I'm about to go train. Yeah, something you do beforehand. The pores open. Keeps the fungus away. Live another day. You know, these skin-borne diseases, staph, and all that disgusting stuff. So wrestlers, you know, they've not been looking at $120 million paydays for being even at the top of their sport. So this has done something pretty interesting. You know, you want to keep Cael Sanderson's attention. You give him a job as a head wrestling coach, a head program, and a salary of a couple $1 million a year. Dude's making money. He's like, yeah, well, you know, I don't need to get punched in the face for a living. I got $4 million coming in through the door. But at some point, these guys are competitors. You know, and some of them have made the jump over the wall quite comfortably, and it's been really nice and supplementary. You can do both. You know, it's not like Daniel Cormier, Cain, friend of Knuckle Up, Cain Velasquez. It's not like those guys couldn't turn around. Like when you talk about people, there's a running back from Stanford who just dropped out of college to become a professional baseball player. Running back, you know, football. He said, yeah, well, whatever. I was on a full scholarship anyway. Now I have an opportunity. 25th round draft pick for I think the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know much about baseball, but, you know, I know that people will say, you know, he's cheating his education. Yeah, you know what? Well, now it's different. Now that Stanford gives you, if your parents make under $100,000 a year and you get into Stanford, you get to go to school for free. So I know it's a little bit different with the value of what the guy gets, but still, you know, the reality of it is that what we're talking about and what the whole education cash issue doesn't address is this desire to compete, you know, and compete at the highest level. And you know, somebody like Cael Sanderson, who's a hotshot wrestler, not Cael. I'm not saying that Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva had a child that's called Cael Sanderson. I'm saying this is a man named Cael, Cael, C-A-E-L, not C-H-A-E-L. It's got to be some weird Mormon thing. Speaking of which, Republican Mormons, name them. Ted Bundy, Mitt Romney. I'm just saying, you know. So in any case, it is cool that Brandon Hester, as a wrestler, walks in, that they give him his rock and roll fantasy. Hey, we need a wrestler. Is anybody in the house? He was, yeah, I kind of wrestle. Well, we need to, and his first day in is cleaning the place up with people. He didn't do that when he came into Team Sorrel. He went against Rodrigo. We still have to have Rodrigo Hatino come in. 21 years old, got a record of 11-1. Or maybe he's undefeated as well. Very, very tough. The toughest 140-pounder you'll ever meet. Very tough, you know, and clean. You know, I mean, it's nice to watch 100. It'll never happen in competition that a 135-pound guy will fight a 205-pound guy, but it's nice to see that when I, as a 205-pound guy, go against another. Well, I'm not. I'll get to lose weight. Goes against another guy like that, what has to happen? Well, what happens is I end up trying to muscle him into stuff. Rodrigo doesn't even bother with that. His technique and flow. Speaking of which, let's see if we can get him up before. If I can get these interviews done, man, that would be great. And I told him I want to do it, and I'm gonna do it guerrilla style. Let's see if this works. This is Harley Flanagan. If it works. You never know. Do a guerrilla style. I just call Obama. Yeah, I need to shave. Hey man, I got you on the air. I told you I was gonna do this guerrilla style.
Motherfucker, you can't give me 2 seconds before you do
Hey. That's what the audience is hearing right now.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. What's wrong with you, man?
Well, hey, you know what? I tell you truthfully, man, it's like that scene in Goodfellas where they think that Tommy is about to get made. You know, you got your black belt, man. I couldn't be more happy. I've been really excited about that, you know.
Well, you know, I'm still waiting for the shit to turn blue. I put some kind of fake dye in that shit to fuck with me.
Yeah, that would be.
Oh, man, I'm kind of stuttering and speechless over it, as you can tell. I mean, because you know, it's one thing for someone like me and you to do something musical or artistic or whatever, because that's just something that, you know, we've always been doing our whole lives. It's like second nature and shit. And yeah, you know, sure, we've been fighting our whole lives and, you know, getting in fights and this and that and shit, but it's a big difference to, like, really put your mind to something and learn, like, a lot of techniques and really do something that really required a lot of effort. I mean, the shit did not come easy, and it took a lot more work than any of that shit I did with the CRO-MAGS did or anything.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. I mean, I was talking to the audience before. I'm trying to explain to people, this is crucial. It's like, you know how few black belts there are in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? They're few enough so that all of them can be listed on a website. That's how few there are, you know?
You know, look, you know what, dude? Not for nothing, man. This one friend of mine at the academy pointed out, he said, yo, Harley, not only have you made a mark in the history of music, like,
that's undeniable and that's unquestionable. I mean, all you have to do is look up your name or look up hardcore or anything of the sort, and it's not even anything someone can question. But now, you have also achieved becoming a black belt under RENZO GRACIE, like in a direct lineage back to like the, you know, there is no family that is closer to the samurai tradition.
Yep.
As far as like learning martial arts, basically from birth.
Right.
And to receive a black belt under RENZO, and to, you know, I've been teaching a while now, and I was basically apprenticing. That's how I saw it, you know, learning how to teach and learning how to become qualified to actually own and wear a black belt, you know. And, you know, I've achieved two pretty incredible things in life, and the only thing I could say is greater, or that I'm even, you know, more proud of is, you know, my kids and the fact that they are also growing up in this tradition and have been training and competing since they were like 5 and 7 years old.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I said to RENZO when I thanked him, was just, you know, I thank you for everything you've done for me, everything you've taught me, and everything that you've done and what you're doing for my family. I can't express my gratitude enough, you know?
Yep.
And it's humbling, you know? It's like, before, you know, I could roll around with a brown belt and win or lose a match and not feel so bad, you know, because what's I do? I still compete in the 30 to 35-year-olds division, and here I am in my mid-40s, you know, and I roll with dudes that are like, on the average, 50 to 60 pounds heavier than me, and 10 years younger or so, and so you know, I definitely hold my own, but now I got this belt around my waist that I feel like, yo, I can't even, you know, you really have to, it's like a responsibility. I have to like I have to start learning all over again.
Yeah,
I
right.
have to be the owner of this belt, you know, and it's a heavy burden, dude.
Yeah. Hey,
it was easy. I could go under the radar before, and now I'm like, the spotlight's on me, the red dots in my forehead.
Right,
you know?
right. Hey, heavy is the head that wears the crown, man, you know.
Man, you ain't shitting, brother.
Well, you know, but there's a certain protocol. Like, you know, I mean, they have out here, you know, Leopoldo Serral, the guy who's coaching me, he goes down with Caio Terra, and they have a special black belts only class that they do like 3 times a week, you know. And
well, we got black belt classes too and stuff, but still, it's different, man. You know, when you feel like, you know, because like there's dudes. When I look at the line of people against that wall that are black belts, like I know that any one of them dudes could come in after, you know, anything. They could come in with a missing arm and still tap dudes out. They could come in hypothetically hungover if they were drinkers. They could come in like mangled from whatever, and you would still know that you were fucking with a black belt.
Yeah, right. That's right.
You know, and now I feel like, you know, despite the fact that most of my opponents are bigger and stronger and younger, for that matter, I feel like it's my responsibility to school them.
Yeah.
You know? and that's that. Like, I feel like I have to come in ready to fuck some shit up, you know, gracefully.
Right.
Not in an evil, menacing way, but I have to be able to weather any storm and come out the victor in order to really feel like, you know, I mean, sure, like Helio lost his fight, you know, his big fight against the Japanese master that time, but, you know, he didn't, how do you really say you lost when you give it your all and you're against a younger, bigger, stronger opponent?
Yep.
So, you know, in that sense, you know, yeah, I can carry this, but I have to be that guy. I got to be that little pit bull that always wins.
Hey, so now tell me, like in terms of like procedure, did you know this was coming, or did you just show up one day?
Not really, man. You know, hold on, son. Don't worry, I'll clean up. See, you got me over here. I got my kids here. My dogs are running around.
No. We only got a few.
Man, call me when I don't expect it. What's wrong with you, man?
Well, I can call you back later too, but I just figured.
I got 2 puppies, so I got it's like between the 2 kids and the 2 dogs, it's crazy over here. But yeah, man. Well, thanks, man.
No. So you show up one day, And then, I mean, you didn't know it was coming, or everybody's looking at you?
I didn't know it was coming, you know, but, like, you know, as things would have it, like, 2 days prior to the ceremony, you know, we have the annual black belt ceremonies where they give out promotions to, you know, white belts that are turned into blue belts that are turned into purple belts, and so on and so on. And then they go and give stripes out to all the black belts, and then they start initiating new black belts.
Right.
You know, Renzo calls you out, he'll run a little speech leading up to who he's going to say or who he's going to call, and then they call you up. And, yeah, most of the time it really does catch you off guard. And then when you go up there, you say a few words, and then usually you get jumped by a bunch of cats, and they start whipping your ass with their belts and attacking you.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
You know, and then you just go to the rounds and shake every black belt there, and pretty much give love to all your brothers and all your sisters, and it was beautiful, man. My kids were there.
Yeah.
As soon as he called my name, my kids jumped up and started whipping me with their belts. Gregor started whipping my ass. Gregor fucking started smacking me, and you know, it was beautiful. And first thing Enzo said was, "Harley, please don't curse."
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like. But you know, as I was saying, like 2 days before the shit went down, I was just really tuned in. I was training with this dude, this brown belt, who's like in his 30s, and he's got about 85 pounds on me, and he's chiseled. The dude's built like a brick shithouse. I mean, he throws people around and mangles dudes. A lot of people won't even train with him.
Right.
And for whatever reason, I was just in the zone, man, and I caught him in like 4 arm bars. I caught him in a shoulder lock, and I was passing his guard and mounting him, and he couldn't unmount me. And it was just like I was just in the zone.
Yeah.
And I think that might have played some part in my promotion, because some of the black belts saw it, and they were like, you know, there was no denying that I was definitely in Zen mode. I was there.
Right.
You know, whatever spiritual guidance was going on, I wasn't even thinking. My body was just flowing, and it was awesome. But,
that's great.
You know, so I think, I gotta say, I think that must have had something to do with it, because, you know, because other than that, I really didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been helping teach there. I've been doing some privates. I help run the kids program there, which is fun.
Yep.
I love working with the kids. That's like a great time.
Yeah.
And I've been helping teach the women's class, which is nice too. They don't smell as bad as the guys, and they don't smell nice.
I always think of this guy that
not all rough and rugged.
Right.
But yeah, man, it was beautiful, man.
Well, you know, like I said, it's a lot. My first, I was going to tell the audience after you were off the air, but my first time seeing you fight was at Danceteria in 1982. So I'd say you've come a long way.
Yeah, well, that was a different type of fighting. That was real no rules.
Yeah, it was at the.
It was real no holds barred, no 40-ounce bottles barred.
No, it was at the Channel 3 show at Danceteria.
Oh God, I don't remember that, man. There were so many beatdowns that got back in the day. Who can recall what was what? You know. Fortunately, you know, we're in a different place now, and fortunately for us, we got you know, training partners and places and a sport that we can compete in to unleash that manimal.
Well, man, hey, I hope my sincere hope is that in 10 years you're making this call to me after I finally got my black belt.
Oh God, man, you know, there's no denying that you're a force to be reckoned with, man. I think the only thing that's holding you back is you need to train more gi.
Yeah.
You know, I think that, you know, because your no gi is crazy, and yeah, you know.
Well, we've had some guys.
To move forward in jiu-jitsu, I believe. I mean, I know there's some people that you know, like, I guess I don't think Eddie Bravo teaches much gi and stuff, but he got his black belt in gi from what I know, and there's not that many people that in pure jiu-jitsu that you're going to get promotions from unless you're also training gi, because it is part of the tradition of the art. I mean,
yep.
You got to do no gi to be able to apply that shit to real life and to apply it to MMA or whatnot. But there's something beautiful about putting on a gi and knowing that you're walking in the footsteps of the masters for like hundreds of years. You know, tradition. There's something to be said about that when you put.
Well, you see, I'm glad you said that, man, because in 15 minutes I gotta go train gi. Tuesdays we do gi, and I was complaining about it earlier. Like, I'm gonna fucking put this fucking gi on. God damn it! But this is a good pep talk. It's like, all right, gi Tuesdays I should look forward to. You know, so
you should, man, because that's the tradition of the samurai right there.
Yeah,
man.
right.
Putting on your gi, it's like in your mind you might as well be putting your sword.
Yep.
In its sheath and getting ready to go, you know, take some heads off. That's the tradition right there, man.
Right.
And, you know, then how you take that and apply it to your battle and your reality,
you see, ladies and gentlemen? You see, ladies and gentlemen? You see, he's become a black belt in total. That was the most solid pep talk a blue belt like me ever could have gotten. Fuck it, that's great, man. All right, you're right. You're 100% right, you know.
You know, I got one thing I just wanted to add before I go. Yeah, when I was walking the line and I was shaking, dude, I just got goosebumps. When I shook John Danaher's hand, he looked me dead in my eyes, and you know he's a man of few words.
Yep.
He looked me dead in my eyes and smiled and said, "Well deserved, mate."
Fuck.
And that to me was dude, when the room erupted when I got my belt. Like, it erupted. It was like being on stage with Iron Maiden again. Shit went crazy, you know?
Yep.
And, but that moment of besides Renzo hugging me and the fellas beating on me, yo, John Danaher looking in my eyes telling me, well deserved. That fucking meant it all right there. Hey, man,
I love that. And also, like I say, you know, like that song from the 40s, they can't take that away from you. No matter what. That's it, Jack. That's it.
That's right, motherfucker.
You know, all right.
Hey, man.
All right, Harley.
Once you go black.
Yeah. You go black, you never come back. All right, Harley, man. Thanks for letting me do this guerrilla style. I'll talk to you later.
Man, it's great talking to you, man.
Take care, man.
Give me some warning, you fucking...
I know. It was dangerous for me too. I don't know what you're gonna say. You know.
Yeah, man. If you only knew what was going on.
Yeah. Right. All right, Harley. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye. Yeah. So there you go. So we do more interviews in the space of 10 minutes than many people do. You know. Well, anyway, you heard me say I got to go to fight. I go to fight. We'll continue this show later because we've barely scratched the surface. It's going to be a full hour this week. So, through the miracle of modern video editing, you won't know it's happening. It'll be happening, though. I'll be back in 2 seconds, but right now I got to go fight. So, presuming, knock on something wooden, presuming that I don't get killed in the next 2 hours, I'll see you soon. Yeah, so, through the miracle of modern editing, it seems like I didn't go anywhere. Do anything, so you wonder why I was wishing you all goodbye. But in the first half of the show, you got it. You got Brandon Hester, no relation to Todd Hester. Todd Hester, the former editor-in-chief of Grappling Magazine, the guy who gave me my start in fight reporting, at least, and who's recently been on my mind again a lot because I'm going to let you in on a secret. A secret! He has been involved with the production, editing, publication of My Life as a Bar Brawler, or My Life as a Brawler, some such thing. David Tank Abbott's new book. So you're hearing it first for the first time here on Knuckle Up. I am breaking the news that if they can track down Tank, not only will I be the tour manager for this tour, which is crazier than it sounds. Not only will I be the tour manager for the tour, but I will be the support act for the Tank Abbott show on the book tour for his book. First time, heard it here. So we're working on it now. But Todd Hester, Grappling Magazine is no more. It is now called Ultimate MMA. But he's moved on to Gladiator. Face fear, conquer fear, be feared. Gladmag.com. So he's putting together the tank tour, so that's why I've had Hester on my mind. But Brandon Hester, you know, 2 fights away from going pro. You can go to YouTube. He's got all of his fights actually on YouTube. Dude needs to figure out how to do a YouTube channel. In actual fact, I need to figure out how to do a YouTube channel. And when I say I use the marital version of I. Actually, no, the marital version would be we. You know? So when I say we really need to figure out how to do a Knuckle Up YouTube channel, and then I stare at you. Like, we really need to take out the garbage more often. We need to take out the garbage more often? I guess that means you sit and watch me take out the garbage. So, right, we got pronoun problems. Get that fucking garbage out of here. You know? If it wasn't for me, the house would be full of garbage. So I say to you, we need to develop a Knuckle Up YouTube channel. The video is already there on Knuckle Up, combatmusicradio.com/Knuckle Up. One of you enterprising young people who watches this show, listens to it, needs to figure out how to do a YouTube channel. Yes, I've gotten to that point in my life where I'm delegating stuff that I should easily know how to do, but I don't. Brandon Hester's got the same problem. He's 27. He needs to figure out how to get all of his fights on one YouTube channel. But he's got a couple more fights to go, he says, before he thinks about pro seriously. But I enjoyed the hell out of watching his videos on YouTube. So Brandon Hester, look him up. First half of the show. Also Harley Flanagan, member of a very, very special club. As I talked to Coach Leopoldo Serrao about having Harley on the first part of the show, Coach Leopoldo Serrao's comment was, this is where it starts. You don't look at the black belt as a terminus to your efforts. The black belt is where the magic starts. You know. Before then, you just been learning, you know, it's like taking driving classes. You're 18, you get your license. That's when the magic starts. So there you go. In 10 years, I'll be able to tell you, I got hurt. That's how you know I went to fight. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to focus on what I can't help but focus on. I'm going to focus on what I cannot stop thinking about. I'm going to focus on Saturday's fight, Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. You know, let's get this stuff up. I can't because my back. All right, so let's see. So I'm going to make my picks early. Let's just get that out of the way. I know some of y'all won't make it to the end of the show because I don't imagine you can take it. I like your show, but all you do is complain about money. I haven't complained about money yet. But, you know, I had to get yet in there because you know. In any case, Anderson Silva will win this fight. I am shocked that the Vegas odds makers are calling this fight even. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. In the past 2 years, while Chael Sonnen's been running his gums, and I like Chael Sonnen. I used to be a hater. I like him. Keep in mind, because he's done what I've done. You know, antagonize guys who are much better than you. You know, to see what kind of reaction you get. And I am predicting that the reaction will be very much like the reaction I get. If you want to see, I didn't antagonize Cain Velasquez because I heard that he routinely knocks out his training partners. I didn't antagonize him before the match. I antagonized him in a different way by trying to kick his ass. So in 2 years, Chael Sonnen has discovered media celebrity in 2 years. He's apparently written a book, and even outside of the felony arrest, and he's become good friends with Jim Rome, has appeared on the show. Guy's got charisma, got camera charisma. Why not? Ride it for all it's worth. But every time they've been dabbing corn silk on your face, every time they've been, hey, I got something else that we should do. We should work on a knuckle-up banner of some kind, so I don't look like a pit prisoner at Abu Ghraib. How about that? Sitting in front of a white brick wall. You know, I've been looking at some of these other web shows. You know, I hesitate to have a knuckle up YouTube channel. It's embarrassing. What kind of production value do I have here, huh? What kind of production value do I have? Are you guys just going to watch the show and not help out? I'm dying here. Somebody, put together a banner. Pay? Anyway. So while he's been flapping his gums, sorry, I imagine, much like the line from Captain Willard in Apocalypse Now, you know, every day he's been sitting around getting soft and fat. Charlie's in the jungle eating rat meat. Anderson Silva is eating that rat meat. I mean, he's really angry. Now, anger will interfere in amateur fighters' progress. Anger in a professional fighter, let me tell you, you ever hear this name, Thomas Hagen? No, I'm sure you haven't, unless you're a boxing fan. Thomas Hagen, to gin up his fight with Julio Cesar Chavez, started making fun of the guy, questioning the guy's record. 100 fights. Who does this guy fight? I haven't heard any of them. Maybe these are Tijuana cab drivers he's been fighting. Julio Cesar Chavez, very quiet, humble man. You know, he got in that ring. You can't do this in MMA, but I think we're about to find out how you do this in MMA. He got in that ring with Thomas Hagen and beat the living shit out of him all 12 rounds. Could have knocked him out at any single point, broke his ribs, cracked his face, tortured him from beginning to end. When reached for comment in the hospital post-fight, Hagen was quoted as saying, "I guess those were pretty tough cab drivers." Silva has already said he is going to change how people perceive this sport. He is going to break out Chael Sonnen's teeth. He's going to break his arms and his legs. Let me explain something to you. Anderson Silva is a multimillionaire. Anderson Silva has come out and said he is nowhere near retirement. Anderson Silva is not bored. He is focused and angry. And the anger in the hands of a professional fighter becomes a laser. It diffuses most people. You look, I'm coming to you straight off of having watched the weigh-in. I am frightened. Frightened in my heart for Chael Sonnen, who I now repressed Republican homosexual, who I now like quite a bit. I like Chael Sonnen because he has stepped into that rarefied air of not give a fuckitude. A lot of people say they don't give a fuck, but they give a fuck. A lot of people who've gotten famous for saying they don't give a fuck never say. Let me get this straight. A lot of people who are famous for saying they don't give a fuck always give a fuck. You know? I mean, Andrew Dice Clay crying on stage and providing a microphone, having to explain the joke to people who don't need the joke explained to them. I don't really hate Chinese people. I don't really hate broads, women, chicks. He doesn't know what to call them. Crying. Consequently, Andrew Dice Clay has no career. Somebody on one of the blogs asked Steve Albini about if it was a public outcry that caused him to kill that band Rape Man. And he begged off. He said, no, it wasn't the public outcry that had the effect. It was, band members who hated each other. Band members who hated each other over the public outcry. Maybe where blackface would have been if blackface had lasted. when interview after interview, angry black journalists showed up. How dare you call your band blackface? And then my response would have been, my face is black. End of interview. Next question. In any case, back to Chael Sonnen. Back. That's actually the muscles around a rib. So I need some muscle relaxants, of which I have none tonight. And the guy I used to get them from made some headlines recently, so that won't be happening. So, yeah, and anti-inflammatories won't work. So, Chael has now got this, you know, he's been doing the talk shows, I'm sure he's been training, he's focused. His last fight against Brian Stan was terrible. Maybe that's a part of his rope-a-dope strategy to appear, you know, but I think he gave it all when he gave it the last time, and he benefited from a couple things. He benefited from Silva's boredom, and he benefited from an injured Silva, which I'm not even going to, that comes way down on the list. Silva never made any claims about that, you know. Came off of a bored Silva, and that was Chael Sonnen's Rocky moment. I'm talking about Stallone Rocky, not uneven, bumpy. 2 years since he's rehabbed the rib and done whatever else he's done. If Anderson Silva has not been working with a guy who's got a strong shot, you know, he's crazy. And he's not crazy. What he is a multimillionaire who likes being a multimillionaire. What Chael Sonnen is a convicted felon. Republicans do this all the time, so I don't feel bad doing it. From somebody was calling Matt Fury would fondly refer to Muhammad Ali as the draft dodger. The draft dodger, Muhammad Ali. As a matter of fact, he was a draft dodger. Conscientious. Objection. Refusal to fight in Vietnam. Technically, draft dodger. You know. Guy, technically, Jimmy Page is a pedophile. Jimmy Page has had sex with girls under 18. Technical definition, pedophile. I like Jimmy Page. Why'd I have to drag his name through the mud? In any case, so now you've got Anderson Silva who is focused like a laser and angry. He was so angry in this press conference. I mean, I'm going to read you some of the press conference. I'm going to read it to you. I saved it specifically in order to read it. I've got a PDF of what he said here. Boom, 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 boom. I've got a lot here. Wait. This comes under UFC press release. The spider finally snaps. He snaps. They call it snapping. He snapped. Let me read it. Oh, God. My back is killing me. Yeah, well, you know, I shouldn't be working out. Oh, well. So here we go. Oh, no, they've got links to it. Dana White was quoted as saying, there you go. Dana White was quoted as saying, I promoted every Anderson Silva fight since he's been in the UFC in 2006, and I've never heard him talk even remotely like this. He is usually so respectful. It doesn't say anything negative or disrespectful. I've never heard Anderson talk like this once. You know. So let's see. He says, irate at 2 years of taunting from Sonnen, Silva took the opportunity to sound a warning to the man who came within 2 minutes of taking his title in August 2010. Quote, I'm going to break his face and every tooth in his mouth. I know he's on the call listening to this, and playtime is over. There's no more talking from him. I'm going to beat him out of the UFC. I'm going to make him pay for everything he said about me, my family, and my country. I'm going to beat him maybe like his parents should have to teach him some manners. I'll teach him those manners myself. No more shit talking from him. Chael Sonnen's going to get his ass kicked like he's never gotten his ass kicked before. What I'm going to do inside the octagon is something that's going to change the image of the sport. I'm sorry. I'm going to beat his ass like he's never been beaten before. This is going to be violent, and I am sorry. I'm going to make sure that every one of his teeth are broken, that his arms are broken, and his legs are broken. He's not going to be able to walk out of the octagon by himself. I can guarantee that. He will need a plastic surgeon afterward. Sonnen was disconnected from the call. But later said, people can't understand why I'm not getting caught up on the hype of Anderson Silva, but he can't take the magazine covers and press stories into the octagon with him. He's just a man with 2 arms, 2 legs, and I'm going to beat him on July 7th because I want it more than he does. Well, maybe you did. I don't need anything in my life, but I have to have that belt. Everything I've done, everything I've worked for and sacrificed, everything I have in life, I would give it all away to be the UFC champion for just one night. I'm sorry. The Rocky dream does not trump a guy who's defending his family, his name, and his entire country. It does not forestall a broken arm, broken arms, broken legs, and broken teeth. It does not help you out of the cage. Ah, man. Now, you know, usually what happens is fighters talk smack, and they, at the end, they hug, and everybody's happy. They get their checks, and they go home with their big bags of money. You know, at the press conference, you know, Dana White smiling, and you know, he's all happy because he realizes that this is going to make him some money, and everybody, it'll be a good fight. As a fan of the game, he wants to see it. Well, you know what? I'm going to read you a letter from the mailbag. This is from a guy who I will just call B, because I don't know if he wants his name listed. He says, as far as the Sonnen situation, well, let's go back a bit. This guy is a regular writer. He starts off with he quotes a letter from Complex.com Sports about Anderson Silva that he once almost killed his trainer. And when you read that, you think, oh, maybe he accidentally gave him a shot too much, hit him too hard. Maybe you think that's what it was about, right? No, they got into a disagreement in the school. His trainer slapped his face. Anderson goes home, gets a shotgun, goes over to the guy's house and waits for the guy. It's a different world, man. I climbed in through some guy's window at 5 o'clock in the morning one time. Well, we don't need to be talking about me. Anyway, so he starts off with this, and we're talking about this thing, and I'd say that, you know, I'm worried. I said, here. I say Hawaiian and Japanese cultures are the same. This veneer of mellow, but underneath, a sort of rigid code of some sort that's super sensitive to perceived slights. I mean, I know Chael was joking, but he crossed that line for Silva a while back for sure. You know? But this does not change the fact that Sonnen is going to die. He goes, as far as the Sonnen situation, personally, he's writing back to me. I think it was the comments about Anderson's wife that set him off. In some cultures, you just don't go there. And I think Brazil and other Latin countries are really protective, possessive of their women. I reread the translation of what Silva said in the conference call, and one part stood out as being really scary once I read it again. Anderson says, quote, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to change the way this sport is perceived," end quote. It's easy to miss the significance of this comment, and I think most of the fight media have. Silva is apologizing in advance and saying he will peel off the thin veneer of organized combat as civilized sport and embrace his primal delight in dealing hateful violence to his fellow human being. So yes, Sonnen could likely die. Great letter, Mr. BM. You know? I mean, this is like you said, the joke time is over. It's really... So, and then he, in the midst of an interview where the guy asked him about his felony conviction, he walks out. You know? So, I'm a Chael Sonnen fan. I'd like to get him on the show, and I would have him on respectfully. I hated him at first because I didn't realize that he was, well, I hated his politics, and then I didn't realize that he was, I had not put my hands around the fact that he was doing some kind of Rowdy Piper thing. Because I'm just reading the quotes. I'm not seeing him. But, you know, Jerry Falwell used to say the shit that he'd say with a smirk on his face, too. Popeye! That's one sleeping-ass dog. He's perfect. I used to think pit bulls were a perfect dog for me, but they're really high-strung. Not this. He's sleeping standing up. His eyes. Yeah, look at that boy. He's drunk. He can barely open his eyes. He knows because I call him boy. He'll always be a boy to me, a young lad. Anyway, I'm sorry. I've digressed into Popeye land. There's a picture of Popeye on the friend of Knuckle Up, Diago, on my Facebook page. Even though I hear from different people that they can see different things on my page. Don't know why. Anyway, so this Sonnen fight, I'm going to make my picks. But people keep saying, you know, they go for the whole sports conspiracy thing like I always usually do. Like, oh, well, you know, this could make the biggest rematch of all time if Silva loses this one and they can set it up for a third part of the series. You know what? All that shit, you know, oh, the odds makers, he could win, he could bet. All that shit is gone. That's no money, nothing. Nothing will soften the hammer and coffin. So let's go. Let's make my picks on this. A lot of guys on this thing. I mean, I kind of know Shane Roller and John Alessio. Not well enough to Galisa Tebow, I know. Not well enough, you know, Dong Young Kim against Damian Maya. Okay, Melvin Guillard, Fabricio Camoes, Chad Mendes, Cody McKenzie. Kung Lee is fighting on this show. He has just been forgotten in all the hubbub. But I'm going to make Kung Lee is a friend of Knuckle Up. I'm going to make some picks here. And I want you to mark my word. I got to write this down. Hold on. Because I'm going to forget. My picks. And you'll have to excuse me if my picks for anything but the top one. I can't concentrate. I'm insane. Silva. My pick. There's nothing that will convince me otherwise. Nothing. Especially not. You go back to Chael's last fight against Brian Stan, which he won, but he was so underwhelming. Nothing. You got to understand. I don't know who the ref is. I don't know who the judges are, but you're going to have to kill Anderson Silva or put him to sleep to win this fight, and Chael Sonnen is not capable of doing any of those things. You know, I'm sitting here and I'm actually getting like I'm frightened for the guy. Okay, Forrest Griffin against Tito Ortiz. You know what? This is like bum fights. Forrest Griffin versus Tito Ortiz is like a bum fight. I shouldn't even have to pick. Both these guys have let me down. But I'll pick. Ooh, man, it's tough. It is like bum fights. I gotta go with Forrest Griffin. He's got more to prove. And Tito's already been inducted in the Hall of Fame. Not gonna change that. Let's talk about him retiring. He's sounding a down note. He's like to go out with a win, but I don't think Forrest is gonna lay down for it. Ivan Menjivar and Mike Easton, don't know either one of them well enough. Kung Lee versus Patrick Cote. Interesting. Patrick is rusty as fucking been out of it. When's the last time Patrick Cote fought? He had this knee injury against... this is a real fight that Kung Lee's fighting. But let's look at his last fight. Was March 31st against AFC Force Combat against Gustavo Machado. 2011 October, had a steady fight schedule. Decision, TKO, KO. But then he lost the decision to, he lost to Anderson Silva, Alan Belcher, and then Tom Lawler. I'm thinking. Kung Lee is a friend of Knuckle Up. But, you know, I'm a journalist. And I got to call it like I see it. I no longer train with Kung Lee either. Yeah. I'm going to go with Patrick Cote on this one. Ring rust was the only reason I wouldn't have Cote for the win. Sorry. Friend of Knuckle Up, man, but I got to call like I said. Melvin Guillard against Fabricio Camus. Well, Fabricio Camus, you know, is a fucking jiu-jitsu guy, and Guillard's having a fuck of a time. He's won 7 of his 14 wins have been by submission. You right? Submission. TKO, he's got a few submission. Fucking dudes, Guillard's weak spot has to do with his submissions. But you know what? I'm going for Guillard. I think he's super talented, and he's trying to make a comeback. And I guarantee he's been working on nothing but submissions and submission escapes since he got submitted last time. Well, I got some more fights. I got Dong Young Kim against Damian Maia. Ooh, this is tough. Damian Maia has underperformed in my mind. I'm gonna go with Dong. How can you not go? How can you choose anybody other than Dong? You gotta choose Dong. You gotta go with Dong. So I've made my picks. Stone cold solid rock locks. Dig it. I've written them down. So there you go. That's the show. I mean, yeah, I could do lots of stuff on, it's been about an hour long. I could do a lot more stuff. I could go on and on about this thing. But I'm too geeked. I can't concentrate. I can't think straight. Tito's in the Hall of Fame on July 7th. Followed up with his last loss. Ronda Rousey, Sarah Kaufman coming up, UFC 50. No, it's Strikeforce. I'm sorry. Yeah, UFC has not made room. I thought that was a news story. The spider finally snaps. Fuck. Watch it. Watch it Saturday. I don't care what you have to do to see it. See it. Seeing it will be believing it. So, hold on. I'm going to do something special for you today. See, the sun is going down now. You see, change the light on my face. I'll shave next week. Yep. I need a banner and I need a YouTube channel. I'm sorry I can't reach the bell. This has been Knuckle Up. What? I'm your host. I'm your host, EUGENE S. Robinson. I can't reach the bell, man. So this is round number 215. You got to excuse me for the last 2 weeks. You know what? If I don't do a show, there could be lots of reasons for it. Crushing, crippling depression could be one. But I will never leave this show without having told you for weeks in advance that I'm leaving. So go to combatmusicradio.com, scroll down and pay your pal. Keep the show on the air. Or directly, you can pay me directly. I don't trust you guys enough. I got a PayPal account, but I don't need somebody dropping dimes on me again, telling them that I'm a pornographer, so I get kicked off under my other secret account. KNUCKLEUP77@yahoo.com is a good place to send money if you want to get it directly to me. As it is, it's the 4th of July. This is our 4th of July show. I got bills to pay by the end of this week. I got zero cash. Zero cash, baby. Yeah. When you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. Anyway, that's the show. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.